Gentlemen, what if I told you that two simple ingredients, things you can grab at any grocery store for less than $1, could actually fix weak erections, boost your testosterone, and protect your heart all at the same time? Now, before you scroll past, hear me out, because this isn't something I made up. These two ingredients have been used by men for thousands of years. One of them was so powerful that ancient Egyptian pharaohs were literally buried with it. They believed it held the secret to male vitality. The other one? The Aztec Emperor Montezuma drank 50 cups of it every single day before visiting his harem. 50 cups. His warriors drank it before battle. Two completely different civilizations, thousands of miles apart, zero contact with each other, and both of them figured out the same thing about the male body. I'm Dr. Lila Romano. I'm a urologist, and I've been helping men with exactly these kinds of issues for over 10 years. Today, I'm going to show you how to combine these two ingredients into one simple drink I call the King's Tonic. It costs less than $1, it takes 3 minutes to make, and the science behind it is genuinely impressive. We're talking stronger erections, higher testosterone, lower blood pressure, and less inflammation, all from one cup. And I'm going to give you something most videos like this never bother to include, a week-by-week breakdown of exactly what to expect and when. So stick with me until the end, because that part alone will change how you approach this. Now, to understand why this drink works so well, you need to know about one molecule, a molecule that most men over 50 are producing less and less of every single year. And once you understand this, everything about your erections, your circulation, and your energy will suddenly make complete sense. That molecule is nitric oxide. And if you don't know about nitric oxide yet, pay close attention. Every single blood vessel in your body, from the largest artery down to the tiniest capillary, is lined with a specialized layer of cells called the endothelium. I call it the living lining. Think of it like a thin, intelligent coating on the inside of every vessel in your body. And when that living lining is healthy, it does one critical thing. It produces nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the signal your blood vessels need to relax, open up, and let blood flow through freely. It's the master switch. Without it, your vessels stay stiff and narrow. With it, they dilate and blood moves the way it's supposed to. When you're in your 20s, your body is producing plenty of nitric oxide. Blood is flowing freely everywhere it needs to go, to your brain, your heart, your muscles, and yes, to your erectile tissue. When arousal happens, nitric oxide floods the area, vessels open wide, blood rushes in, and you get a full, firm erection. Simple, reliable, effortless. But here's what happens after 50, and I'm begging you to hear this clearly. As you age, and as inflammation accumulates, as diet shifts, as stress builds, that living lining gets damaged. It starts to lose its ability to produce nitric oxide the way it once did. Your vessels begin to stiffen, they narrow, and the blood flow that used to arrive quickly and powerfully starts to slow down. Now, here's the part that most men, and honestly, even most doctors, don't connect. The blood vessels that supply your erectile tissue are only 1 to 2 millimeters wide. The coronary arteries that feed your heart are 3 to 4 millimeters wide. So when blood flow starts to decline in your body, where do you think you're going to feel it first? Not your heart. Down there. Erectile dysfunction typically shows up 3 to 5 years before a cardiovascular event. Let me say that again so it lands. Your erection is a weather forecast for your cardiovascular health. A declining erection isn't just a bedroom problem. It's your body waving a flag and telling you something important is happening in your blood vessels right now. That's why when I tell you this drink improves blood flow, I'm not just talking about your performance. I'm talking about repairing that living lining, restoring nitric oxide production, and protecting your heart at the same time. Now, I've been a urologist for over a decade, and in that time, I've sat across from more men than I can count who dismissed early signs of erectile decline as just getting older. One patient, I'll call Marcus, 61 years old, fit, active, no major health issues, came in because his wife practically dragged him. He'd been noticing weaker erections for about 2 years and had chalked it up to stress and age. I ran a full cardiovascular workup. His arterial stiffness markers were elevated. His endothelial function was compromised. He wasn't in crisis, but he was. Had him there, and he had no idea. We put him on a lifestyle protocol that included this exact drink, along with some dietary changes and movement. 6 weeks later, he came back. His energy was noticeably better. His erections were stronger, and his follow-up blood markers had shifted in the right direction. And Marcus isn't unique. I see this pattern constantly in my practice, which brings me to the two ingredients that made the difference for him and can make the difference for you. So let's start with the first ingredient, cacao. And I want to be very clear right from the start, because this is where most men go wrong immediately. I am not talking about Nestle's. I am not talking about Hershey's. I am not talking about the instant hot cocoa powders sitting in your pantry. That stuff is processed with extreme heat, loaded with sugar, packed with emulsifiers, and those emulsifiers have actually been shown to damage the very endothelial lining we're trying to repair. It does the opposite of what we want. What I'm talking about is raw, organic, cold-processed cacao powder, the kind that's almost black, the kind that's slightly bitter, the kind that still has its active compounds fully intact. Look for the words raw cacao on the label, not cocoa. That distinction matters enormously. So, what makes real cacao so powerful? It comes down to a specific class of compounds called flavonols, and specifically two called epicatechin and catechin. These are the same flavonols that make dark chocolate healthy, but in raw cacao powder, they are far more concentrated and far more potent. Here's what these flavonols do inside your body. They directly stimulate an enzyme called nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme responsible for producing nitric oxide in your endothelial cells. More flavonols, more enzyme activity, more nitric oxide, more blood flow. It is that direct. And the research on this is genuinely impressive. A study published in the journal Hypertension followed 15 healthy subjects who drank flavanol-rich cacao. Researchers measured their blood flow at 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours after drinking it. Blood flow was measurably improved at every single time point. The researchers noted that the improvement was comparable to what you'd see after taking a blood pressure medication or a nitrate supplement from a drink. A second study followed 21 subjects for just 2 weeks. After 14 days of daily cacao consumption, researchers measured significantly improved blood flow in the brachial artery. This wasn't a one-time effect. It was a sustained structural change happening inside their blood vessels. But here's the study that stopped me in my tracks when I first read it, and it'll stop you too. Researchers studied men and women between the ages of 50 and 80, your age group specifically. After just 14 days of cacao, their arterial flexibility was comparable to people 20 to 30 years younger. 14 days. That's not a medication. That's not a procedure. That's a drink twice a week made from a powder that costs a few dollars. Now, there's more to cacao than just nitric oxide. It's also loaded with magnesium, and most men over 50 are chronically deficient in magnesium without knowing it. Magnesium is essential for testosterone production, for muscle function, and for deep sleep. Cacao also contains compounds called anandamides, the same chemicals your brain produces when you're in love, and phenylethylamine, which is a natural mood elevator. So you're not just improving your physical performance, you're getting your mind in the game too. And let me tell you from clinical experience, half of performance is mental. Stay with me, because the second ingredient is where this gets even more interesting. The second ingredient is pure pomegranate juice. And again, I have to be specific because what you buy matters enormously here. I'm talking about 100% pure pomegranate juice. Deep crimson, almost purple in color. Not sweet, not a blend, not a cocktail. One ingredient on the label, pomegranate juice. The brand used in the clinical studies is Pom Wonderful. That's what I tell my patients to look for. Now, here's what makes pomegranate juice different from cacao and why combining them is the key. Cacao works primarily by stimulating the production of nitric oxide. Pomegranate works from a different angle. It protects the nitric oxide your body is already producing, and it directly boosts testosterone. Pomegranate is extraordinarily rich in compounds called paniculagens and ellagic acid. These are some of the most potent antioxidants found in any food on Earth. And what they do specifically is shield nitric oxide molecules from being destroyed by oxidative stress before they can reach your blood vessels and do their job. Think of it this way. Cacao turns on the faucet, and pomegranate makes sure the water actually reaches where it needs to go without evaporating along the way. Now, here's where the testosterone research comes in. And this is the part that genuinely surprised me when I first reviewed it. Researchers at Queen Margaret University took 60 subjects and gave them pure pomegranate juice for just 2 weeks. After those 14 days, they measured salivary testosterone levels, the testosterone present in saliva, which reflects what's circulating in your body. The result? A 24% increase in testosterone in 2 weeks from juice. Now, testosterone isn't just about sex drive, and I want to make sure that's crystal clear. Testosterone governs your energy levels, your muscle mass, your fat distribution, your mood, your motivation, your bone density, and your cognitive function. A 24% increase touches every single one of those systems. But here's where it gets truly remarkable. A randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study, the absolute gold standard in medical research, looked at what happened when pomegranate and cacao seed extract combined together in aging men. Not one ingredient, both of them together. Free testosterone increased by 48%, strength improved by 25%, and symptoms of low energy and low libido improved by 19%, 48%. Not from a pharmaceutical, not from hormone therapy, from 2 ingredients that together cost less than $1 per serving. And here's why the combination produces nearly double the result of pomegranate alone. Cacao is opening the blood vessels through nitric oxide production. Pomegranate is repairing the endothelial lining and simultaneously raising testosterone. They are attacking the problem from 2 completely different angles at the same time. The results compound on each other. That is why the ancient civilizations that used both of these ingredients saw results that neither one produced on its own. They just didn't have the science to explain it. Now, let me show you exactly how to make the King's Tonic. Follow these steps precisely, because the way you prepare it matters just as much as what's in it. Step 1. Take 1 teaspoon of raw, organic, cold-processed cacao powder and add it to your mug with just a small amount of warm water. And I mean warm, not boiling. This is critical. Temperatures above roughly 40 degrees Celsius begin to degrade the flavonols that make this work. So use water that's warm to the touch, not steaming hot. Dissolve the cacao completely before moving to the next step. Step 2. Add 2 ounces, that's about a quarter cup, of pure 100% pomegranate juice. You're looking for a deep crimson color, almost purple. If it tastes sweet and fruity, it's been diluted or blended. Pure pomegranate juice is tart, slightly bitter, and intense. Pom Wonderful is what I recommend because it's what the studies used. Step 3. Add 1 teaspoon of raw, unpasteurized honey. Now, I call honey liquid gold, and for good reason. Packed with zinc, which is essential for testosterone production. It has anti-inflammatory properties, antibacterial compounds, and it helps regulate blood sugar. Stir everything together until it fully blends. If you're diabetic or monitoring blood sugar closely, leave the honey out entirely. Step 4. Optional, but worth considering. Add a pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt. The trace minerals in it, including magnesium and potassium, support electrolyte balance and help your smooth muscle tissue, including the smooth muscle inside your arteries, function properly. Alternatively, add a very small pinch of cayenne pepper. Cayenne contains capsaicin, which produces an additional vasodilation effect and gives the tonic a gentle warming kick. That's it. That is the King's Tonic. Now, when should you drink it? Timing matters here, and I give my patients two options depending on their goals. For general, long-term cardiovascular and testosterone benefits, drink it in the morning on an empty stomach, about 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast. Your gut absorbs the flavonols and polyphenols most efficiently when there's no competing food in your system. This is your default protocol. If you want an acute blood flow effect, meaning you want to feel the circulatory benefit within a few hours, drink it 45 to 60 minutes before intimacy. The blood flow studies showed measurable improvements starting at the 1 hour mark and continuing through 4 hours. That window is real. How often? Drink the King's Tonic 3 to 4 times per week at minimum. If you want to accelerate results, daily use is safe for most men. And where to find these ingredients? Any health food store, Whole Foods, or online. When you're searching, look for raw cacao powder, not cocoa powder, and 100% pomegranate juice, with nothing else on the ingredient label. Now I have to be straight with you about something. Because I'm a doctor first, and that means I can't just give you a recipe and send you on your way. There are a few important things about these two ingredients that most people making videos like this conveniently leave out. So listen carefully, because depending on your situation, one of these points could apply directly to you. First, if you are taking blood thinners, both cacao and pomegranate have mild blood thinning properties. If you're on warfarin, aspirin therapy, or any anticoagulant medication, please talk to your doctor before adding this to your routine. The interaction isn't necessarily dangerous, but it needs to be monitored. Second, caffeine sensitivity. Cacao does contain caffeine, not as much as coffee, but enough to matter if you're sensitive. If caffeine tends to make your heart race, make you anxious, or disrupt your sleep, start with just half a teaspoon of cacao and see how your body responds. And don't drink this within 2 hours of your morning coffee. Too much caffeine stacked together can cause jitteriness that has nothing to do with the therapeutic effect we're after. Third, if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, pomegranate juice contains natural sugars. Monitor your blood sugar carefully when you introduce this, skip the honey, and consider using a pomegranate extract capsule, 500 to 1,000 milligrams, as an alternative to the juice. Same active compounds, lower sugar load. Fourth, if you're taking ED medications like Viagra or Cialis, pomegranate can interact with these medications. It doesn't mean you can't use this tonic. It means tell your prescribing doctor what you're adding to your diet, always. And fifth, sensitive stomach. Some people experience mild nausea from cacao on an empty stomach. If that's you, start with half the recipe for the first week and build up gradually. Your gut adjusts quickly. I'll say it again. Food is powerful medicine, but medicine is also medicine. If you have severe erectile dysfunction or any active cardiovascular symptoms, I want you sitting in a urologist's office, not just drinking a tonic. Use this as part of your health strategy, not instead of proper medical care. Now, let's talk about what to actually expect. And this is the part most videos skip entirely. I'm going to give you a realistic week-by-week breakdown of what's happening in your body and what you'll likely notice. Week 1. Don't expect fireworks yet. What most men notice in the first week is subtler: slightly better sleep quality, more stable energy through the afternoon without the usual crash, and a general sense of feeling a little more alert. What's actually happening underneath is that your endothelial cells are beginning to respond to the flavonols. The living lining is starting to wake up. Some men report slightly stronger morning firmness by the end of week 1, and that's a real signal. That's nitric oxide production beginning to recover. Weeks 2 and 3. This is typically when things start to get noticeably interesting. Blood flow improvements are becoming structural now, not just acute. Most men report faster and fuller erectile responses, more spontaneous desire returning. The testosterone curve is beginning to rise based on the pomegranate's effect on your hormonal system. Your partner may notice before you do. Week 4. By now, most men are experiencing meaningfully stronger and more consistent performance. Mood improves, This is the testosterone and the anandamides working together. Energy and motivation are more reliable throughout the day. The brain fog that many men over 50 just accept as normal starts to lift. 8 to 12 weeks. This is where the full compounding effect arrives. Arterial flexibility has measurably improved. Your body is producing and protecting nitric oxide more efficiently than it has in years. Performance is consistent, not occasional, not circumstantial. Multiple patients in my practice describe this window as feeling 10 to 15 years younger in how their body actually responds. That's not marketing language. That's what they tell me in the exam room. The key word through all of this is consistent. 3 to 4 times a week, every week. 30 days minimum before you judge whether it's working. Your endothelium didn't get damaged overnight, and it won't fully recover overnight either. But it will recover, and faster than you think. So gentlemen, here's my challenge for you. And I mean this as a genuine medical recommendation, not a motivational slogan. Commit to the King's Tonic 3 to 4 times a week for the next 30 days. Pair it with 7 to 8 hours of sleep, some daily movement, even a 20-minute walk counts, and a little intentional stress reduction. Give your body 30 days of consistent support and then tell me what changed. Drop a comment below right now. Have you ever tried pomegranate or cacao for your health? I want to hear your experience. And I actually read these comments, every single one. And if you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button. I release new doctor-approved protocols like this every week. And what's coming next is something I think will genuinely surprise you. This is Dr. Lila Romano, and I'll see you in the next one.